Today I'm going to be making a mean green scramble, so stick around. Hi, Debbie Chu here from Chu on Vegan. Welcome back to my kitchen. If you're new here, I'm a plant-based RN and I follow a whole food plant-based way of eating. Here on this channel you're going to find really easy recipes, so if that's something you're into, please subscribe. You can also follow me on Instagram for more plant-based content. As always, the full recipes will be in the description box below, along with all the resources that I offer. So today's recipe is inspired by a recipe I saw by Pioneer Woman. I don't know if any of you watch her on the Food Network, but she gives me ideas sometimes. And as you know, she is not plant-based at all. But this recipe caught my eye. It sounded really delicious and I knew that I could veganize it. So this is going to be a mean green scramble. So it's going to be all green. I'm going to have fresh greens in there along with some pesto. I'm going to show you how to make a simple pesto. I'm also going to show you how to make a just egg copycat, which is what I will be using for the scramble part of this recipe. So the pesto recipe was also inspired by someone else. This was inspired by Shane and Simple, and I have never made pesto before, so I just searched the internet for oil-free vegan pesto, and there was quite a few that came up, and I really liked this one because it was really simple. And I really encourage you to do the same. If you come up with an idea but not sure how to make it, or make it vegan or plant-based, just go on the internet and you'll find something. So this is what I did for the pesto, and I may change it over time, make it more of my own, but for today I'm going to be using his recipe, and I will leave a link to his information down below. I believe you should give credit to the people whose recipes you are using because they worked hard to develop those recipes. So I want to acknowledge that this isn't my recipe, I'm using someone else's, which, why not? We all do it. All right, let's get started. I'm going to bring you in for a closer look so you can see everything that I'm putting into this pesto. So for the pesto, we're going to be using the food processor. And I have a combination of basil and spinach here. I've got some garlic, lemon juice, nutritional yeast, aquafaba, a little water, salt and pepper, and some pine nuts. You could use walnuts if you want to substitute the pine nuts. I know pine nuts can be a little expensive, but I happen to have some, so I'm going to use them. All right, so we're going to put almost everything into the food processor. I may have to refer to the recipe. I have it written down, so if you see me with a piece of paper, that's what's happening. So we're going to add everything into the food processor except for the aquafaba and the water. So here we go. And let's see what kind of a mess I can make. Garlic. Lemon juice, and it's really good to have citrus with greens because it helps you absorb the iron. Nutritional yeast, pine nuts, and the salt and pepper. All right, we're gonna blend this up. So I'm going to scrape down the sides, and then I'm going to go again. You want it to be like a pasty kind of consistency. All right, we'll scrape down the sides again, and then we're going to slowly add in the aquafaba. And then we'll add water if we need to make it a little thinner consistency. We'll just see how it goes. So we're using the aquafaba instead of oil. And that's going to give you a nice consistency, and also it's going to keep it super low fat, and that's what we want. Okay, I'm just going to put this on low. Actually, that's perfect because you want it, it's gonna have some chunk to it, but you want it to be pourable. And then of course you want to taste it. Make sure you don't need any more salt or pepper, and that tastes pretty darn good. And I'm making a mess. All right, I'm going to set this aside, and then I'm going to make the copycat just egg. Then we're gonna put it all together. All right, so to make our copycat just egg, we're gonna use some yellow split mung beans. These are the ones I use, and I'll leave a link to these. I got these off of Amazon, and you need to soak them overnight, which I did, and then we just throw everything into the Vitamix. It's really easy. So I've already got my mung beans in here. You can see what they look like. You know, they're all nice and soft. And then I'm gonna add some nutritional yeast, and then a bunch of spices, onion powder, garlic powder, turmeric, salt, pepper. I've got some baking powder in here and also some tapioca flour. Those will all go in here. And I don't use the black salt in this. I don't really care for it, but if you want it to be more eggy, then go ahead and add some of that in there. And I'll leave that in the original recipe down below. All right, so that's gonna all go in. And then we're gonna do a cup of plant milk. I'm using soy. Now we're just gonna blend this all up and we'll check the consistency. I may have to add a little bit more milk, but we'll see. All right, I'll be right back. All right, I could have done this before, but I forgot, so now I'm doing it now. I'm gonna add some of the pesto into the egg mixture here and have it turn a nice green. All right, I'm gonna blend again. And then I've got some nice green eggs. Dr. Seuss would be so proud. All right, I'll meet you over at the stove. All right, I've got my nonstick pan heating on medium heat here. And then I'm gonna add in a cup of mixed greens. I have a combination of Swiss chard, kale, and spinach. I'm gonna add a little salt and turn the heat down a little bit, and then we're just gonna let this wilt for a couple of minutes. All right, that's about what we want it to look like. I added a little water in there just to get it going. And now I'm gonna add my egg mixture. About half of what I made. And then I've got this on medium low. And what I like to do is let it set, and then I'll start moving it around. Because it's gonna act differently than eggs, of course. So we'll just let this go, and then I like to let it cook for maybe 5 minutes or so, depending on how, if you want them soft or a little bit more cooked. I like mine more on the cooked side. So we'll come back and check on them in a minute. All right, here we go, finished product. And you know, it might not look appetizing to you, but it is really good. So let's give it a taste. And the way I like to serve it is I just slice up a couple of tomatoes, put a little salt and pepper on them, and then put the eggs on top of those. So it's a very light meal, and it's delicious. Now you could add some toast to this or some potatoes on the side, fruit, whatever you'd like. But this would be your main dish. Here we go. I really like the contrast between the scramble is warm and the tomatoes kind of cool. It's really delicious. And of course, just know it's not going to be exactly like scrambled eggs. If you've done a scramble before with tofu or chickpeas or whatever, it's just different, but it gives you that experience of eggs. Now the pesto will last in the fridge for about a week, or you could freeze it, put it in little ice cube trays, and they'll be good for a month in the freezer. And then the just egg copycat is good for 5 days in the fridge. So you use about half of the mixture for one of these servings. So I hope you liked this video, hope you learned something. If you did, please give it a like and share it with your friends. And if you've made it this far in the video, please comment below with mean green scramble, and that way I know you made it to the end with me, and I really appreciate it. The full recipe will be in the description box below, along with the resources that I offer. Again, just a reminder, my online course is on sale till the end of summer, so check that out as well. And remember that all my recipes are good for you, they're good for the animals, and they're good for the planet, and what you put on your plate determines your fate and your weight. Until next time, thank you.